Welcome to another The Builder's Agency Lessons, where we take something from this past week, I do, from my agency, that looks like a good lesson, or we can turn it into a lesson. And so I think a lot about when I'm creating videos like this, I think a lot about who's my audience, right? Who am I talking to? Am I talking to freelancers, agencies, businesses in general, any type of business? And a lot of so agency lessons, I think pretty much any agency could listen to this and, learn from what I'm talking about or relate to it anyway, right? But it's also for businesses because businesses work with agencies, right? Even if you're a standalone business, you're an e-commerce store or something, you're probably working with an agency out there. So hopefully some of these will apply to those people as well. And in this case, I think it does apply to both. What I want to really quick talk about here is really about finding your experts, okay, or being the expert. So it's about positioning. Where do you position yourself as an agency in the marketplace, and with your clients? And vice versa, client, if you're a business, how have you positioned certain people you're outsourcing to or people in your team? Because what the reason I thought of this week is because in a couple instances, people have come to us or come to me for help after they've tried, or a number of people have tried to do something. So I'll give you a couple examples. Number one, Wix. Now, we don't work with Wix, okay? We don't build anything with Wix. We do not lead with Wix anyway, but we have on occasion, if we have an existing client or an agency relationship where there's some need with Wix, we'll jump in there and try to help out, right? And in this particular case, it was an agency we're working with that we have a partnership with, strategic, for quite some time. And so in this agency, it's a larger agency. They have a lot of really smart people there, and they do a lot of stuff, and they can figure stuff out, right? But some things get a little technical. And in this case, not only did the agency try to fix it internally, but also the owner of that site, the site they're trying to, it's actually a DNS thing. So they built a new site in Wix, and they need to point their domain to this site. So the owner knew another web developer and an IT guy. So we have the agency, the owner, these other couple techie guys or gals, whoever they were, and no one could figure it out. So I got the email. Matt, we can't figure this out. Can you meet with us? And so we had a quick meeting. I don't know how quick, half hour, talked about the problem and the issues they were having. And now I questioned a lot because I'm like, well, you've already had all these people looking at this. It's probably something either it is very technical or something simple that somebody's missing. And after that call, I'd gotten access that I needed to both things, the Wix site and Google domains. And within a half hour, probably I had it figured out and their site working beautifully. But that was a situation where I positioned myself as the go-to person when everyone else hasn't figured it out. Which puts a little pressure on me, to be honest, because I'm like, what if I can't figure it out? It could happen. I'm not, omniscient. I'm not like a god over here. I am only a human. So it's possible that I might have not been able to figure it out too. But luckily I did. Most cases I can. That happens with Shopify. Same thing. We started doing Shopify stuff this past year, and WordPress, WooCommerce. If somebody's trying to do something, they can't do it with the plugin, or they just can't figure it out, they come to me. Now, Shopify is kind of an interesting one because I've actually had to learn this past year how to say we can't do that more. See, with WordPress, WooCommerce, it's so customizable that it's very, very rare that I have to say we can't do that. Now, we may have to invest a little time and money into that, right? If we're doing custom work. And that's the thing. So the reason why I run into limitations with Shopify is because we've positioned ourselves as the custom shop. We go in to do things that others can't do or figure out why something's not working. So again, this last week, we had a Shopify project where they needed to add more options to Shopify. More drop downs, and they couldn't do it. There's a limitation in Shopify. There's plugins that can handle it, but we had to go in there because they couldn't get the plugin, or they're called apps, I think, in Shopify, right? They couldn't get the app to work for some reason, and turned out after we investigated it, there's another app that it was conflicting with, so we had to find a different app and go. But it was a situation where they tried to figure it out first and they couldn't figure it out. They hit a wall and they come to Matt Unified Web Design. So that happens, right? We have another Shopify project. I don't know why we've had so many Shopify projects lately, but another one was kind of similar things where they were trying to build out a new template, new designs and all this stuff, and they hit some walls. They needed some customizations that was beyond them, and so they pull us in to do more technical stuff, new layouts, and launch it this morning. By the way, woohoo! Only a few bugs. We got to figure it out. So yeah, launching on a Friday, early Friday, so it's good. We got all day. No, it's looking good, but we were involved with actually pushing it out because, again, this is working with another agency who has a client. But we're doing kind of the more technical stuff to make sure everything goes smoothly. But we have positioned ourselves this way. And so how did we do that? Or how do we do that? And why? And there's a couple things involved with that, right? Number one, it's your experience, right? If you're just starting out, let's say as a web developer, like if you're a web developer, web designer, or starting out in marketing, you're not going to be positioned like that because you're not going to have all the answers. The other part of this is reputation, right? If so, an agency you're working with or somebody you're working with they've come to you and you've solved problems for them in the past, they're probably going to come back to you again. So the more you do that, maybe there's small problems and eventually you fix a big problem. And now they know your stuff. So. And if you're a business, this applies as well, right? So if you're out there looking for somebody that, you might have different people you use. Some people are just to do the nuts and bolts stuff, the easy stuff. Just managing content or managing the WordPress admin, installing a plugin, doing that stuff. But you're probably going to want to also have that go-to person, that agency like us in this case, right? That can do the more custom stuff. Or when you hit a wall, if you try to figure something out and you shoot Matt an email and be like, we can't figure this out. We've tried to do this. This is what we're trying to do. Maybe shoot a video, show me what's going on, and we'll figure it out, right? We'll see if we can help you. Again, we're not miracle workers, but if it can be done, we have more experience with custom stuff and understanding that whole situation. So it's that reputation. It's also pricing, right? So right away, from day one of my agency, I wasn't going to position myself as the cheapo agency to go to, right? I've kind of positioned myself. There's agencies that charge way more than I do. And there's probably agencies that charge way less. I've positioned a little bit, maybe an upper half, but that filters things out too. So somebody's not going to come to me, because they know they're going to be spending some money, right? But sometimes they don't have a choice. There's a different thing going on there too, though, right? So yeah, we may charge a little bit more, but we're probably going to get it done faster. Right. Let's say, let's throw out a number as an example, $100 an hour. Now you could hire somebody for $20 an hour, $15 an hour. It takes them 8 hours to do something. It took us an hour. I mean, so, you got to figure that out. But you get what you paid for, and that includes speed. We can charge what we charge because of our experience, because we've been doing this a long time, and we specialize in custom work, etc. So if you're an agency, figure out how you're going to position yourself. If you want to be that expert, that go-to person, can you be? And you got to kind of be self-aware. What are you capable of doing? What do you want to do? I think as a business, if, again, you have to have kind of tiers of help. There's things you can do yourself. There's things or your team can do. But to have established relationships outside of what you do, where you can reach out if you hit a roadblock. The thing about a website is a website evolves over time with your business. Okay. So like sometimes with Shopify or WordPress, right? You set it up, the website's great for a couple of years, but then your business starts growing. You're getting more traffic. You want to do more marketing. You want to add some reviews to your site, some Google reviews. You want to add an affiliate program. You start adding all this stuff, right? You got an affiliate integration you got to deal with. If you don't have coding experience, you may not be able to integrate that yourself. So having an agency to work with to do those things, to outsource to, is great. But if you want to start with an agency, start with a couple small projects, build that relationship, but find those people. And think about what you're having them do. Again, somebody that's just going into a WordPress admin and installing a plugin or adding some content. You're not going to pay as much, or you're not going to use the same people you would use that's going to come in and troubleshoot a major bug or a broken video or something else that needs deeper understanding of the code and stuff. So, or even your server and stuff like that. So that's it. That's the lesson today. The lesson today is find your experts or be the expert.